Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for tuning into PSVG 102, titled SNES Life. I am your host this evening, Donnie Reese, over at PlaySomeVideoGames.com. Joining me is my partner in crime, Tyler. Tyler, welcome to the show.
Heck yeah, I'm back and I'm ready for action, baby.
It's our first show together, so that's fantastic. And we have another first. Ending our special guest of September. We had our 100th episode this month where we had Gabe Patillo from Married to the Games on. We had Justin Warner from the Food Network on our show. And closing it out in the anchor spot, Jesse Waldak from Nintendo Dads. Welcome to the Play Some Video Games podcast, sir.
Yes, welcome, buddy.
Gotta love that anchor spot.
The anchor spot. You're the anchor. You're the closer. You're the one that comes in and finishes it off.
When I was in high school, I used to run track, and I loved being that last person in the relay, mainly because I didn't have to worry about handing it off to anybody. It's easier to receive it than hand it off.
Wow, that's a good one-liner.
I'll say I'm totally taking that out of context in so many bad ways. Jeez,
definitely.
All right, that's what I do.
Jesse, I'm pretty sure that most of our listeners know who you are and the outlet you represent, but just in case they don't, tell us a little bit about yourself and the podcast you come from.
Okay, so I'm Jesse. I've been podcasting now for about 6 years now. My initial show was the VG Tribune Roundtable, where we did ended up doing a lot of Nintendo stuff, but we try to keep it open to every topic. It's hard to get news out of Microsoft and Sony sometimes because it's really easy. Nintendo's a lot easier, but that it kind of fizzled out because it was hard to keep a consistent beat with a weekly show. And so when almost 3 years ago, I think our 3-year anniversary is coming up in a few weeks, Zach, Justin, and myself started Nintendo Dads. We are currently at 148 episodes in under 3 years, so pretty much we've hit every week except for like 2 weeks off a year, normally near the holidays, and then 1 week for our technical difficulties week. And other than that, we've been really consistent. So we'll be do Nintendo news, reviews, and opinions from a parenting perspective, because we all grew up as gamers and we're all raising the next generation of gamers.
And the nice thing, I was very impressed how you're able to pull this off. There's times where you just don't have enough of the crew, so you start pulling in the family even. I remember there was one, I don't remember who it was specifically, started talking with their son about stuff. It might have been you, actually.
That was me and my son.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Other than that, it would have been a solo show. And so I knew it was going to be short, maybe a 15-minute podcast. And it takes a lot to get information from him. So maybe having him on only maybe added 5 minutes to the show.
Right. You had to really work in on him.
Still added a little bit. Yeah. He's, I think he still hasn't come out of his shell yet. He's a senior in high school, and he's actually at a Super Smash Brothers tournament at a local barcade right now.
Smokes. Who's in maining today?
Kirby.
Kirby, really? Holy crap. You don't see much Kirby nowadays.
Yeah, he's in a Zelda shirt, green shorts. He has a Zelda GameCube controller that plugs into the back of a Wii remote.
Nice.
And
so Smash Brothers?
Everyone's going to think he's maining Link, and no, he's going Kirby.
Nice.
I have no idea.
Keep him guessing.
It started an hour ago. No idea how that's going. I'll find out after the show when I drive down there to pick him up.
Well, good luck to him.
I'll let him know.
Say, fantastic. Thank you for joining us. Most of our Nintendo crew is out of commission this week. That's what they're all doing. So
they called in sick to play the Super Nintendo.
There we go. That's exactly what they're doing. So you've got Tyler and myself, and yeah, it'll be great. So thank you so much for joining us. We are going to get into our weekly check-in and what we've been playing. And Jesse, this is conversational. So if you're playing, definitely jump in, engage, tell us, what you think, all that. That's what this part of the show is about. But I would say is the majority of this podcast, as it is titled SNES Life, and we'll get into more and more about why I call it the SNES and everybody hates it. We'll save that for our messages, because the majority, all of our messages were all just about the SNES and the Super Nintendo Classic and our experiences and all that. So
yeah, I did notice that you titled your show at the start, where we usually get our title generated from an out of context something that was said in that show.
Yeah, it kind of threw me off when you did that, Donnie.
So we don't come up with our episodes titles until after we record.
You hit that typically
what we do. But Kevin, see, so I'm the new host here. I typically don't host our show. Kevin always hosts our show, but he's hosted so many, and he had all the special guests. We're giving him the week off, so it's me. So it's going to be a little more less formal, and he does all that. But I mean, you already have our notes, so our listeners don't see what we're seeing. We're already looking at it. The entire show is basically SNES related, minus some couple news stories. So it was pretty quickly just like, we're going to title this something SNES related. Anyway, our weekly check-in. Tyler, you're playing a little more stuff that's a little more varied than the Nintendo stuff that I am doing. Yeah, so let's let you kick off.
I cast a net into the ocean and pull out whatever I can find, and whatever you guys hand to me. I did wrap up a bit of Mario plus Rabbids on the stream there. I know you guys had a heck of a chat. I pretty much echoed the same thoughts with that, so we won't get too far into that. The big thing I've been playing this week was Terraria. Have you guys ever played that before?
I haven't. That's the 2D Minecraft game, right?
That's the best way to summarize it. Honestly, It's a side-scrolling SNES pixelated Minecraft, and it's great because you can play up to 8 players. It's $10, and I put in 620 hours into it so far.
Wow.
And yeah, like just crazy how much like a 100 megabyte game could be so addicting. But if you think about it, people have done that much in games like Mario Maker, and if they can get creative with it, you can go pretty much anywhere with it. And you can set boundaries for yourself, but we won't drag in on that. By popular demand of everybody, Donnie and Kevin, I started playing PlayerUnknown's Battleground. Much against my own wishes. I'm going to be honest about it. And thankfully, they were totally right in investing in it, in me to do that, because I hate shooters. I hate it. So I was never good at shooters. The last good shooter I played was Splatoon. And thankfully, when I picked up PlayerUnknown's Battleground, I went in there with trying to keep tempered expectations, and I was blown away with how crazy it is.
Can you sell me this game? Like, so all I know is that it's taken our echo chamber world, because it's not the world. I often have to remind myself that a lot of people have no idea what PUBG is, but
Right.
it's taken the echo chamber, like my Twitter feeds, all of the podcasts, everybody's talking about PUBG, and they're talking about PUBG and Fortnite and the whole, like, what is the game? Like, what's the hook? Why is everyone so fascinated with this game?
Well, the sweet thing about this is coming up sometime this week. By the time you see this podcast, you're going to see a sweet article on PlaySomeVideoGames.com. But for the people listening right now, PlayerUnknown's Battleground is a game made by Brendan Green, as long with his other crew, the dev team known as Blue Hole, which is located in South Korea. They decided to do that after making and working on games such as H1Z1, couple other games in that area, and he really liked the movie called Battle Royale. I believe it was 2003. It was a Japanese film. In that one, 42 children were picked from a class to be thrown onto an island and just duke it out with each other. Guns and everything, no questions asked. And it was brutal. Like, holy crap, brutal. And this guy, Brendan, Mr. Green, loved it so much, he decided, I'm going to take 100 random people, no selection process whatsoever, besides the button you click to start, and just throw you on an island completely buck naked, and then just go at it. You can find yourself a crossbow to defend yourself in. You can take somebody down with a frying pan if you're absolutely lucky. Go wild. And so you're just sitting there on an island that's uninhabited. It looks like something from like a nuclear test island called Erangel or something like that. And they are just rummaging through houses while everybody else is doing the same thing, trying to find the closest randomized weapon they can find so they can shoot the snot out of each other. And sometimes you get lucky. You go into the first room, hey, there's a shotgun and a M16. You're ready to go at it. Other times you go in and it's like, hey, I got a revolver and this weird pair of shoes. And then you turn around and the guy's like, hey, I like those shoes. And then they shoot you and then you lose. But during that process where you're trying to loot and search and hunt and try to get the best setup and fighting everybody else, there is a force field. Picks one random spot on the map, slowly shrinks in. And as you're battling and getting loot, you got to slowly get into that circle as it shrinks. Otherwise, you lose health and die. And so eventually it cultivates into a 10-15 death match, essentially in the middle of nowhere, open trees, with all the successes that other people have gotten over each other. Let me try that again. They looted everybody else, and so they had the best of the best that everybody of the 100 people could muster, and then they just duke it out with each other right there. Try to get number one place and get that fine, sweet chicken dinner.
So it's that there's a lot going on. So
Honey roasted.
It's the Hunger Games.
Yeah, you can think of like that. The Hunger Games is like, it's more freeform, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Like, you could honestly, if you got lucky enough, you could just run with nothing but loincloths around your cheeks straight to the center and then just camp out in the house for the next 45 minutes. And you probably would get the same result as if you were to go all, Sylvester Stallone, Rambo, hooking up with everything and find and, hunt people down through the woods and whatnot. But honestly, I would say 90% of the time, you're just going to go into a building with 30 other people. If you go into a populated area, get mowed down by one person, and eventually 8 people come out, and then they're the actual players. I would say the first 15 minutes is pretty much picking out the people that made less than favorable choices.
That'd be me. Yeah. I was going to ask if how long the matches are, because I get the hook now. That makes sense.
Now, are we talking about from 100 people to 1, or for the person playing?
The game, like when you play 100 people to 1, like your first.
Because when you croak, it doesn't let you spectate anything unless you're playing with other people. You got to go to the lobby, and then that's it for the whole show.
Oh, so you just hop into another one?
Yeah, as soon as you're gone and you say tough luck, you say exit the lobby, start again. A minute and a half, you're ready to go.
Have you won any yet?
Yeah, no. The highest I've gotten so far is 3. I got in the 3rd place so far.
That's
okay.
not bad.
I was very happy with that. I'm hoping to get up to that, that sweet barbecue chicken one day. But I told myself I got myself a turkey dinner instead, and not as good as the chicken, because I really like chicken. Turkey's okay, but that's Thanksgiving. I want chicken.
Gotcha.
But I would say the average match, if you were to go from 0 to or 100 to 1, I would say half hour to 45 minutes.
Okay.
If you were to be winner number 99, hypothetically, it would probably be about 1:45 seconds. It's a minute to get you on the plane, about 30 seconds to land to the ground, and about 15 seconds for somebody with bare cheeks going up you and punching you to death.
So I imagine this would be a game that if I was like one of the first 5 people out, I would say, screw it, I don't care, I want to start the next match. But if I was in the top 10, I would want to. Yeah, I'm invested. I would want to
watch and stick it out in the end, right?
The rest of it out.
And it does stink because after you croak, it shows like a pan over your character. So you can see like maybe a square 50 feet. So if there's chaos going on, you could see the person that maybe killed you and tried looting you, and maybe he's number 2 and the other person's out there trying to you could see him get plowed, knocked over in black and white over your body to see the win, but you can't spectate the whole match. If you play something like Duo, where you play with another person, you can spectate your partner. So if you go down, you can watch him and try to keep an eye out around for him.
As long as he's still up.
As long as he's still up. Once you're both down, well, if you're in 14th place, that's all you're going to get to see. Show's over, folks.
That is pretty good. I could see that. So that's the exclusive that's coming to Xbox, and it's currently available in PC and PC only at the moment, right?
Yes, sir. I believe it's $30 on Steam right now.
Well, it's not bad, especially for lunchtime.
Other than that, I got 2 review copies from yours truly. Thank you, Donnie. One was called Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash, which is I'm not going to go into too much detail. If you want to see more of it, check us out on youtube.com/play some video games. Think Wet. No, that's not the right way of starting that.
Yeah, no, that's a bad choice.
Think Splatoon plus Overwatch plus an M rating. There we go.
There you go.
So it's watery fun that has some adult themes.
With physics?
Many physics, yes. You can do an execution that has lots of physics as well as removal. Anyways, Hidden Legend was another game I got that was for the PlayStation 4. I believe it's coming out very, very soon. Actually, no, it came out last week. I think the 21st specifically, so I can talk about it. I did not have a good time with that. I'm sorry, Donnie.
I'm sorry.
Hey, you hit gold with me with Senran Kagura, but Hidden Legend, it just wasn't it, man.
We've all been there. As I tell, we've had a lot of questions of folks that I want to start a podcast, I want to review games, and I want to start a website and a blog. And I go, all right, be ready to review some bad games.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was okay with it
because it's going to happen.
It's a $20 PSN title, and it was a Chinese developer's first game. So I had that in mind as I was playing like the first 45 minutes. But the voice acting was actually so closely recorded that it was clipping in game. And I like just the idea of that was like frustrating because I was impressed, like, wow, English. But then it's just blah, blah, and it was bad. It's a side-scrolling combat game that was really simplified. And then I spent 15 minutes professionally taking on a boss that apparently I was not supposed to beat, so eventually killed me off. So I found that out, and then it's really a bare-bones story about some guy that has a sword, and it starts like Dead Souls for some reason. Like you start off in like a prison, and you like everybody's dead except for you for some reason.
Weird.
Yes.
All right, I'll get mine out of the way, and then we'll let our guest star have his time to shine.
And you thought you talked a lot, Donnie. Here we go. That's me right there. Cut it all out. See you later.
I beat Metroid Samus Returns. Had a lot of fun with it. I don't know if I should review it. Metroid's never been one of my favorite games in the Nintendo stable. Our listeners have known that for a long time. I like Metroid. I've never been that person that thinks that Super Metroid's like the greatest game of all time. It's just that style of game has never resonated with me. When I for me to even admit that I beat it is kind of that goes a long way to telling you how good the game was, that I just didn't give up on it, because there were some times towards the end where I was just like, I'm tired of walking back through these hallways already.
I feel you, man.
It's an interesting game because it's fun. Metroid Prime Samus Returns is really good in the sense that that counter mechanic that Samus now has really adds a lot more action to the gameplay, which I really appreciated, because I was like, if I played this entire game without it, I'd be more bored than I was when I played it before it. But what I always try to review games with kind of a different mindset. When I was trying to think about it, I was like, it's interesting that like with an open world game, I don't mind backtracking. And I was wondering why. Like, why with this game that I do? And the only opinion that I could really come to grips with was that I don't find the setting particularly like memorable. Like in terms of like the hallways and corridors, like I really never really know where I am. Like I'm kind of looking at a map, I know I'm on the west wing or the east side. Like I don't really, it's different like when you're in a world, right? Like I know this town, I understand that tower, there's like landmarks and visuals. Like I know where I am, I have my bearings about me. And for some odd reason in that environment, I just never feel comfortable just exploring. I always feel like I'm getting lost.
I feel like in Metroid Prime, they tried tackling that issue by introducing different themes, such as, lava, the ice world, the jungle world. And they tried doing that to make it as memorable as possible. But in a game such as like Metroid 2 or Super Metroid, they had pretty much one theme and one theme only, with the occasional lava at the bottom. It was, spaceship.
And Samus Returns has all that different stuff. It's got like the purple world, the jungle world. It's got the frozen world and the lava world. It's got all that. But even when I'm navigating them, like I don't know. I never really feel comfortable. It's a good game, offers a lot of challenge. I only got the normal difficulty or the normal ending. I'm not going to replay it. Actually, I already traded it back in. So I played it, beat it, enjoyed it. The Ridley fight was cool. But again, I don't know if I'm the best person to review it. I mean, I think it's worth the money. So if any of our listeners are out there,
spoilers.
Exactly.
I know, right? Ridley, is there Metroids too? You can just read that for me now.
There's Metroids in Metroid.
There are 40 of them.
Yeah, there is. Quite a few of them. The one thing that I will say, though, because I said it a lot leading up to it, because I was really excited about this game, the one thing that I will say is that I was a little let down with the 3D presentation of the game. When I first saw the game, and I saw, when they streamed it after the Nintendo Direct at E3 on the Treehouse Live, and I was like, man, I can just see it now, like how great this 3D is going to pop. I gave the 3D about an hour and I turned the 3D off. I was like, it's not that good. There's been better 3D sliders. So if that was one thing you were particularly really excited about, maybe it's not, you might be a little let down there. It has nothing to do with really the game. The game it's good. And it's great that we have Metroid back.
I mean, do you typically play games with the 3D slider on?
I do. That's the one thing that kind of really, actually, that's one of the things that sets me apart. I'm sorry?
As do I.
Oh, great. Fantastic. Yeah, I really like it when the 3D is good. Like when the 3D is good, I'm like, oh, this is, this is one of my biggest things about Pikmin. Hey, Pikmin, like if they had 3D with all the stuff that they had going on in the foreground and background, I thought it would have made that game better. And the fact that they didn't have it at all, I thought was kind of a missed opportunity. But no, I do. Like I've played Ocarina of Time 3D twice, and there's so many times I just stop and like walk slowly through certain areas because it looks so good in 3D. Like when you got to remember, I've got the new 3DS, the small one, and the new 3DS has the 3D was really good on it. Like, when they upgraded it, it's really good. Jesse, before I move on, did you play Metroid Samus Returns? You got anything?
I started it and got stuck. I ended up getting stuck in World 3, finally in the third area. I mean, wiggled my way out of it, and I'm like, okay, I need a break because I never found where I needed to go. I just got out back to where I can go on the elevator back to the second world and the teleporter. So I'm like, okay, I want to go back to the first world because I've learned a few things about how the game works. I know I got better acquainted with the spider ball. So I go, let's go back to the first area. Just go through, pick up the things I missed, maybe then go back and I might have learned something else by then. I ended up getting stuck in Area 1 again.
Don't you hate that?
In the southwest corner of that area. I'm like, I don't remember how I got out the first time. So I have 5 Metroids defeated so I have 35 left, and ever since like the SteamWorld Dig 2 came out, I got a review copy, so I got it the day earlier than everyone else. But ever since I started playing that, I have not gone back to Metroid. And my history with the Metroid series is I love the 2D series. I've played all the 2D games and beat them except for Metroid 2 because that game is a bad game. But
it's interesting because God.
I even liked M, the other M.
I liked M too. I liked M too.
I liked the gameplay. Didn't like the chatty cutscenes or the pixel hunt, but I liked the overall gameplay. But I've never been a fan of the Prime series, just because I'm not a first-person fan.
Ooh. See, I was going to say this. I think this is where we have differing perspectives, because I was born and raised on Metroid Prime for the GameCube, all the way up to Metroid Prime 3 Corruption for the Wii. And that is the only Metroid series I've played. I've never touched anything for the Super Nintendo. Or, GameCube. Or not GameCube, Game Boy.
Yeah. No, but I've always been a huge... I'm more like with you, Tyler. I'm a huge fan of Metroid Prime, even though I've played the other ones. I've always thought that... I've always wanted Nintendo to lean into Metroid more into like a Halo realm. Like I've always kind of like, this should be your...
That would be crazy.
I know, and a lot of people don't like it, but I've always said like, this should be your shooter franchise. Like it's a space franchise, a shooter franchise. Like
we got that.
I think they tried, back, but if I remember right, Prime 2 and Halo on Xbox came out same day.
Yep.
And so Nintendo's release got overshadowed.
Of course. Yeah. I've always wanted them to lean more into that, just because I think they should have like their over-the-top, like shooter campaign action. But people, the Metroid faithful out there, that's not what they want. So I understand that.
Right. I mean, Metroid has been considered a lower budget film game compared to the other Nintendo games.
Sure.
So it'd be kind of hard asking them to pump in more money to put the level of something like Halo. It would be nice, but it's just the demand's not there.
Prime 2 had a multiplayer component, but
it did.
I never played it, so I don't know how good it was.
Right.
My closing comment, at least on the Metroid thing, is Jesse, I can understand your plight, because I used a guide to get through Area 5 and 6, or 6 and 7, because Image Informed SteamWorld Dig 2. I was like, I got to get to this game. Like, I've been playing Metroid and I kind of got stuck. I think it was Area 4 or 5. Jason on our team, he already beat the game. So I was pinging him constantly, like, am I close to being done yet? And he was like, no, not yet. And I was like, all right, I gotta beat this game. I've got another game to play, and I don't want to, it got to the point where I wouldn't say I'm tired of it. It wasn't like I forced my way through it, but I was like, I'm ready to streamline it. Up until that point, I was like finding my own way, and I was like, all right, now it's time to beat it. So I sat down one night. It took me about 5 hours, and I was like, I just got like a guide on YouTube, and I was like, all right, show me my way out of here so I can move
I mean, you
on.
remember Metroid Prime, right? Before you could actually get to Metroid Prime, you had to search around the whole darn place, like for these special puzzle situations. That was just mind-boggling.
The other game that I played that I'll bring up momentarily, I played Pokemon Gold. I got Gold and Silver for my son and me. We're huge Pokemon fans.
What's your starter?
Pokemon Go. I went with Cyndaquil, and my son went with
Chikorita or
no.
Or
Totodile. Thank you. I was gonna say for alligator. I was like, that's not it. He went Totodile.
I mean, it could. Evolves. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm getting nerdy over here.
You're good. Up until this point, literally up until like a week ago, Pokemon Go was my favorite Pokemon game. I remember playing when I was littler. I was like, this is the best version of Pokemon. And then I remember we played Pokemon Sun. Q and I reviewed it. I loved Pokemon Sun and Moon like so much. You have no idea. It's the first Pokemon game my son ever beat. Having that mini map with like a waypoint just meant so much for him because he didn't have to understand all the dialogue to find his way through. So we played it together. We collected all the Pokemon. Like I put so much time into that, over 60 hours into that game. I was so excited. And then going back to Gold, I got my first 3 gym badges. So it's not like I didn't play it. I played it. I put some time into it. I can honestly say right now, having played it now with like, removing the rose-colored glasses, Pokemon Sun's my favorite Pokemon game. Pokemon Gold now drops down to 2. It's been replaced for all the right reasons. It's nothing against Pokemon Gold. We're talking about a game that came out 10 years ago, right? Pokemon Sun should be better than that game. And
more than that. It's been 17.
Did Whitney's Miltank just roll out right down to second place? Did I just see that right?
But I'm really, really glad that we got them. My son's still playing. I'm not really playing anymore. I don't know if I will beat it again. There's just a lot of things, a lot of quality of life improvements that I really found myself missing. But it's fun. Great. What is it? $10, $9.99. Great, buy. And then I played a little bit of Cuphead. I really can't talk about it because I'm talking 5 levels of Cuphead, and it took me like 2.5 hours to get through 5 levels of Cuphead because that game is hard. But it's like the game that everybody's talking about right now. Go ahead.
I was saying, how hard are we talking here?
It's hard. I mean, I'm not PSVG's best gamer, but it's hard. I died a lot.
I'm not a fan of difficult platformers like I used to be. Like I can't even play Donkey Kong Country anymore. Where before I 100% of the game when I was a kid.
It's harder than Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't even play that game. So Cuphead interested me when I first saw it in E3 like 3 years ago, and was thinking about it. But after hearing about how difficult it is, I'm like, I think I'll just save my money.
It's gorgeous.
I wouldn't get it even as far as you just did.
I mean, it is gorgeous. And I sat down. The Buckeyes didn't play till 7:30. I had an afternoon to kill, and I sat down with my daughter and my son because I was like, they'll probably be into this. It's a cool art style. I mean, it is until you see it with your own eyes. Like I know you can see it like on streams and stuff. Like when you see it running in front of you, I mean, it is superb. It's
awesome. The way the animation's completely drawn.
There's nothing, and it never breaks it. At least so far. I mean, I barely played it, but like just jumping in and doing it never broke the illusion. You're like, I'm totally watching a 1950s cartoon like in real time. I'm controlling a 1950s cartoon. Like it's amazing. It's mind blowing. It's really cool. It's really hard, but it's also like really hard in the way that it doesn't. When I died, I felt like the game was hard, but it wasn't like unfair. I was like, I shouldn't have jumped. Like I shouldn't have tried to. I tried to shoot that guy, and he got to me before I could, finish off the job. Like I felt, like the first boss, I died 4 or 5 times. I was like, man, this game's really hard. And then I kept playing, and I was like, when I beat it, I was like, it's not so hard. I just didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. I had to die 5 or 6 times to figure it out first. It's kind of like it's like Meat Boy hard. Like Meat Boy's hard, but once you kind of get the trick, you can start to play it. It kind of felt like that. That all gets to the point that I'm trying to get to. I've been trying to get here the whole time. My new favorite game for the Switch is Golf Story. I've been crazy excited about this game. I've been going on and on and on about it ever since they ever showed it in Indie Direct. Jesse, if you don't listen to our show, I claim to be the world's greatest golf game fan. I love golf games. You're talking to 150 hours Mario Golf World Tour guy.
Nice.
I love golf games. Everybody's golf let me down a little bit. It's not bad.
Aw.
It's just it's not what I wanted it to be. It's not what it used to be, and that's what Golf Story is. Everything I've ever wanted. It is a new Mario Golf RPG. That's what it is. That's
Where's
all
Mario?
It is. It's,
Give me Mario.
in the old Golf
Can I
Mario
play
RPGs,
as
you
Mario?
didn't get to Mario until the end.
You play as player.
You play as player boy,
True.
player girl.
True.
And it is, it's so good. I've been playing it.
As far as I can tell, you can't even pick your name. You are just stuck with player.
You're just dude. Yep.
You're so cool.
And I adore it. We're going to review it. So I don't want to give too much away, but I will give a
Wait,
little
who's
story.
we?
Well, Jason and I have been playing it constantly. So
Okay,
I think it'll be he
I
and
was gonna
I. The one thing I'll give away, as a huge golf fan and have played a lot of golf games, my favorite golf game of all time remains to this day Sid Meier's Sim Golf back on the PC. I used to love that game. I played that game forever. There is a lot of that game in this game. Not obviously, you don't build courses. So anybody that's listening to like sim game, no, you don't build the courses. But in that old game, you could play the courses that you built, and the way that you played them by picking your shots, and then the way that you interacted with other characters with the text bubbles and kind of the style of the art and how everything was written, it's very similar. It's very similar. It's very close, actually. And I adore it. It's such a treat. I'm having so much fun. I did have a freeze today. I was trying to do this disc golf thing, and I threw my frisbee into a picnic table, and it just got stuck bouncing inside of the picnic table. And I just got stuck there and had to reboot and redo all of it. And I did it, and it was fine. But right now I'm through course 4. So I've done, I think, a good amount. I think I'm going to have 6-7 hours into the game, and I can't recommend it enough for $15. Like we did our 6-month Switch top 25. And I can guarantee you when we update this thing on March 3rd, 2018, Golf Story is on that list. I'll shut the site down before Golf Story doesn't make that list. Golf Story is going up there. It's going up there. I love this game. Jesse, I saw you posted some screenshots about this game. You're playing it too?
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit ahead of you.
Okay.
Because after you're done with the fourth,
God, you too.
That's the beach one, right?
Yes. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
I posted a screenshot of my score of that and made a comment about it. But after that, then you go back to your home course and do a tournament with like everybody, and that's as far as I've gotten.
Is that the end, or you?
No.
Okay.
At that point, the bridge that's been opened to the west of your house, is now down, and you can cross it. So that unlocked the other half of the map.
The other half of the map. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Plus, we still haven't been to the snowy area in the south.
We stopped. I stopped after Cheeky Beak Peak before I got through the beach levels, because we got a lot of questions actually on our Twitter, because I've been posting screenshots and Let's Plays of it all day, and actually got a lot of people going, "Is this single player only?" So we actually stopped to record, my wife and I playing Golf Story together, because there's a quick play mode where you can play with 2 players. You can just go play golf.
Oh, that's cool.
I haven't done that yet, but the story mode is 1 player, but the quick mode is multiplayer.
It's 2 players only, so you can't go 3 or 4, but you can split the Joy-Cons. So your Switch player, you can do that. I think it'd be a little weird. I didn't try it. I will, but because of the triggers and how you use the triggers, I thought it'd be a little odd to play just Joy-Con only. So we've been playing Pro controllers, but
I think Pro controllers is the way to go.
Yeah. But I adore it. I absolutely adore it, and it's so good, and it's such a good indie. And Tyler, you're talking about your first game. This is their first game. Sidebar Games, this is their first game. They said they were working on it for a year, which is surprising, because it shows a lot of polish. Even the bugs that I've had aside, it shows a lot of polish. And I can't say enough about it. I love it.
If you were to guess, about how many hours do you think you put into this game so far?
Me, I know, actually. I looked it up. I'm 7 hours into the game, and it just came out on Thursday.
I think I'm probably 7 or 8.
All right. I was just curious, like you're telling me like golf courses and whatnot, and me being the ignorant fool that I am in terms of the golf world, I was like, that sounds a lot.
So
the actual playing of the courses themselves is the smallest part of the game.
It is.
The majority of the game is you just running around, interacting with other NPCs, doing small fetch quests. Just drop your ball and hit it and see what happens. Weird
Is there
things
any
like
gophers involved?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, really?
Well,
Yeah.
they call
Okay,
them mole
maybe I'm
rats,
into
but
this.
yeah, it's more
the
or less
mole
the same
rats,
thing.
but yeah.
Still, I want
So
to get
we-
some Caddyshack on this.
We got a lot of questions about that too, because everybody was like, "We know you love golf. Like, if I don't love golf, should I buy the game?" And I'm like, absolutely. If you like old school RPGs, if you ever got into like a Harvest Moon or anything like that, like there's a lot here for you because, as Jesse alluded to, most of the game you're doing fetch quests. Like you're going to you're hitting golf balls to like find hidden switches, or you're playing disc golf to get rid of folks, and you like there's all this. You're finding buried treasure. You're raising money to go buy a hat for somebody. Like there's all of this other stuff. Yes. So like your goal is to go play the course and beat the record or beat the person. But to get there, you've got to buy Joe a soda and get the switch and go talk to the other people and like go hit the washing dryer machines on the rain. You got to do all these other quests to unlock
this game.
It's an RPG. Like it unravels out like that. Yes.
Both of my daughters watch me play it a little bit, and they're like, "This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen." Because I wasn't playing a golf game; I was doing the running around part, and dropping balls and hitting it. And they're like, "This is what are you doing?"
Yep.
I thought Cinematic Agura Peach Peach Splash was going to be the weird game of the this episode, but man,
Golf Story.
You got it.
It's
you
so
win.
good.
You win.
Golf Story's so good. All right.
Did you unlock the mini golf?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that was where I had my first freeze.
Oh.
Yeah,
I didn't.
I think it was the fourth hole. It was one where you kind of you can bank the ball back around.
Mm-hmm.
And
you got stuck.
It got stuck in a corner, and the whole thing locked. And it was like a soft lock, so like the idle animations were still going, the music was still going, but when it would normally say, green, it didn't do that.
Makes sense. They did say a patch was coming.
I did see that. I'm hoping it comes out sooner than later, just because I know, while the game is longer than I thought it was going to be, I want to see the improvements before I finish it. Because if I finish it first, I'm probably not going to go back and replay it.
That makes sense. So we've beat around the bush. We'll get to what Jesse's been playing. But first, Jesse, we have a tradition here on the Play Some Video Games podcast. Every time we have a returning guest a new guest come, we always ask them their favorite gaming memory. So we're going to ask you for a story. Let us know what your favorite gaming memory is. And then let us know what you've been playing if we haven't already talked about all of it to this point.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. When you told me that this was coming, I said, "Oh, I got a good story," and it's a pre-NES story. So, how much do you know of the consoles before NES?
I am only 30 years old, so I have very limited knowledge.
So I know the Super Nintendo was the first ever console to come out, right?
Right. That's how it works.
There's Atari, but that's the devil's talk.
Yeah. So I owned both the Atari 2600 and an Intellivision, and it's the Intellivision that is the basis of this story. So when I think I was 8 years old, one weekend, my mom said, "Let's get in the car. We're going to go somewhere." She didn't tell me what was going on until we got there. It was like, a Sears something. I don't remember even what it was. But I get there, and then these tables full of TVs and televisions in front of them. And so she goes, "We are going to participate in an Intellivision tournament that was being held at the local mall." It's a parent-child tournament. So this is an 8-year-old with a 23, 25-year-old mother, where most of the other people are with their teenage boys and upper 30s, lower 40s fathers. So we were obviously the weird group. We didn't fit in with the rest of it. The first game was skiing, which is a game we've never played before, but there was 9 rounds of it. So we all had, and then the best scores went on to the next round. So it took us a few rounds to learn what we were supposed to do, but we eventually got to the point, I think maybe around 5 or 6, we won the round, and we were able to move on to the next round. So we had a small break while skiing finished. So there are now 9 couples left, or parent-childs, The next game is Astro Smash, which is a game that we did own and kick butt on. So the top 2 groups went on to the next round. So we were in the top 2. I think I had the second highest score overall. The kid of the other side had a higher score than me, but his father didn't do as well. So as a group, we had the higher score, but overall I had like the second highest. So the 4 of us then, for the final round, played bowling, which was a game. Again, we didn't own that one. We did have about a half an hour to practice and learn the game, but we ended up not winning that one just because it was a game we've never played before. But we still got so we got second place in the tournament. We ended up getting another new system, bunch of games, a small color TV, which at the time was like 7 inches, but it was awesome because we won it. And we probably enjoyed that more than the first place prize, which I think was a trip to California for some national tournament of the same scale.
Oh, wow.
But
nice.
But as an 8-year-old, I didn't want to travel. I just wanted to go home and play more games. So
Sure.
we enjoyed our second place win.
I feel you. I feel you on that one so bad.
Yeah, and you're like, no, I just want to go. Give me a toy and go home.
So that's probably that's my favorite video game story from growing up.
It's a good one.
That was awesome. That was nice.
Did you play anything other than the things we discussed this week? You like talking about?
I think so. I did play through the SteamWorld Dig 2. I finished it last weekend before we recorded the last episode. And I liked it. I played it about 10 hours. So, not a long game, but definitely longer than the first one. The first one was like a 4-hour game.
Mm-hmm.
So people looking at the prices and like, why is the price doubling? You're getting double the content. So I have no problem with paying the $20.
I got through the temple and then Golf Story happened. So
yeah, the temple's where I had like the first problem. But once I figure out what I needed to do there, then the game just kind of went on at a brisk pace.
Okay.
I didn't really get hung up anywhere else. In fact, I ended up doing something. I not necessarily sequence break, but I decided to backtrack and I found something that I shouldn't have found yet. So later on, you're supposed to find 3 areas and take care of it. I ended up taking care of an area before I found the quest to tell me to take care of it.
Did it know that, or did you have to go back and do it again anyway?
No, it knew that.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So as soon as it gave me the checkbox of 3 items, one of them was already checked. So
very cool.
That's good. So then I'm a fan of the Picross E series on 3DS. I've played I think 7 of them. I've played every single one of them. I've played every puzzle in every mode, 100% of them. And they usually last like 25 to 35 hours.
Wow.
Each. So then Picross S came out on the Switch from the same company, Jupiter. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to like this. And yeah, it's fun. It's more of the same, but it's more expensive than the E series, but there's also more puzzles in the game. The E series usually had about 100 to 150. This one has like 300.
Yeah.
So,
holy smokes.
So the E series were $5 each. This was $8. So for the more content, it's definitely worth the price. But the thing that isn't kind of a downer on me is in the conversion to the Switch, it lost the touch controls. And I understand why they did it. Because at least with the 3DS, you're usually using a stylus, so you can get to the fine pixel points, sure, especially on the larger puzzles that have the smaller squares. But on the Switch, there's no zooming capability. So when you're doing a 20 by 15, the squares are small, and my finger is bigger than the square.
It's funny you should actually mention that, because it was your discussion last year that I pitched it to my fiance, and she tried it and she loved it ever since, playing it on the 3DS.
The E?
And so, yeah, you personally. So I just want to say thank you for, you got another copy sold, actually multiple copies, because she fell in love with it like crazy. Like I was a truck driver on the road, and she would stop talking for 10 minutes. I'm like, "Are you still there?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm playing this. I'm too into it."
Nice. Yes.
Yes.
So I am enjoying it, but it's weirder with the Joy-Con controls. But one thing that it does let you do is 2-player. So you can each grab a Joy-Con, each have your own cursor, and kind of do your own section of the board at once. And I haven't tried it yet because no one else in my family likes Picross. But it's something that I know Marty and his wife wanted to try it, and I haven't heard of how that went yet. Anyway, but again, I played a little bit of that, but then Golf Story got me in, and I haven't put that down since I picked that up. I did want to do a small little story about Pokemon Gold. I didn't buy the gold or silver on Virtual Console, but my son did. He bought each. He is a shiny hunter. And he's been started doing that like while he was still in school last year, so like April, May, and so when he's at his desk over on the other side of this room, he'll have 4 or 5 3DSs, each running different copies of Pokemon, just doing the same grinding, trying to catch.
That's insane! Wow, wow! I thought I liked Pokemon.
Trying to catch as many shinies as he can, and that's a lot of grinding.
Yeah.
All right.
Question. Go ahead.
Besides the red Gyarados, what was your guys' first shiny encounter?
I have never encountered one that I know of, other than the red one.
Really?
If I did, I don't remember it.
Donnie?
I was muted.
There you are.
I got a shiny Cubone through trade.
Really?
But I've never caught one either. So my story with Pokemon, super short, is I have like 10 to 12 Pokemon that I like, and I always find them, level them up, and then beat the game with them. I've never been the collector. My son is. My son sits there and wonder trades and all that forever. I don't. Nope. I go and find Cubone, Marowak, Gengar, Raichu. Like, I have my folks. This is my team. The folks that I want to do with, and then that's it. And I run. So my son is like I think over 300 shinies all across, spanning multiple games. You know, some weeks he'll go without catching any, and some weeks he'll catch 4 or 5. Just so it's completely like when on I think the gold remake from Gen 4. I don't remember what the Heart
name.
Gold.
Heart Gold. Yeah. He farmed Ho-Oh for I think 6 weeks before he finally caught a shiny. But he got a shiny. So when he bought gold and silver and he's playing them, but he hasn't actually started the game yet because he wants to get shiny. No, I forget the name. The grass one. Not the.
What
Chikorita? Bayleaf? That whole thing?
Chikorita. Yeah, he wants to get a shiny Chikorita. Once he gets that, then he'll actually play the game.
Oh gosh.
Oh man.
But so he's and apparently the early part of this game is really chatty. It takes like almost 3 minutes.
Yeah,
it's 3 minutes before he sees if it's a shiny or not. Then he soft resets and starts it again.
That is so crazy. I mean, that Pokemon Bank is worth its weight in gold for you guys, then, isn't it?
Yeah, for him.
Tyler, what was your first shiny?
My first shiny was actually in the Safari Park. Do you remember that bug catching contest in Gold and Silver?
I do.
I encountered and caught a shiny Scyther.
Oh, that's a good one.
I was able to get a shiny Scizor out of it thanks to a friend, a very trustworthy friend. There was a moment there where like all bets were on the table. He could have kept it, and we would have lost our 10-year-old friendship forever, but it stayed strong. We stayed true. We're actually friends to this day.
That's good stuff.
He was bitter because not even a month earlier than that, I traded his Paper Mario for my Hey You Pikachu, and I wouldn't trade back because he realized Hey You Pikachu really, really is not a good game. But I got Paper Mario, so I had to keep it.
All right.
Come on. Was I wrong for that?
No, not at all.
One more game I wanted to talk about before we move on. This sparked a debate in our last episode. And I think Zach was on my side, and he knows where I'm going with this. Marty and Justin was not a fan, but I bought Arcade Archives Mario Brothers. And Mario Brothers is probably one of my favorite arcades growing up. So, and I don't think any of the others played it as an arcade, or at least definitely not when it was new.
Right. They probably got later iterations.
Right. I forget which one it is. I think Marty didn't even know Mario Brothers was a thing until after he's played Super Mario Brothers. And I can understand going backwards isn't fun. It loses things in translation. But like I had the Atari 2600 version of Mario Brothers and was decent at it. And I knew it was a bad port, but the arcade port, I think, was, I still play it whenever I see it in a cabinet. I play it. So when I was playing this, something seemed off, and I didn't understand what it was. And I realized that pretty much as soon as we ended recording that episode on Wednesday night. So the North American arcades pretty much have 2 levels, and then they add the new enemy. 2 levels, and they add a new enemy. But this one plays 3 levels before the crabs show up. So I didn't know it at the time, but the Japanese version had the 3rd level that was taken out everywhere else. So this is the Japanese version of the arcade, not the North American version, but really I think the only difference is that removal of the 3rd world.
It's just crazy that they put that in, and it takes someone with a good sharp eye to notice something like that. But yeah, just the fact they didn't put the English version, they put the Japanese one in instead.
But it makes sense the way the Switch works is everyone can play the same code. And then it's just language swooping as needed. So I don't think there's any local language options. Everything's, even in the Japanese version, everything's English.
Right.
But yeah, doing research through other methods, I did verify that it was a Japanese ROM being run.
Right.
That's interesting. I honestly can't tell you that I'm even interested in that game. I'm one of those folks that I've played it. I played probably the Super version. I don't know. I played it on a console at some point in some time, and I was just like, yeah, it's not Mario that, it's not my Mario, so I wasn't ever interested. When they announced this, I was like, it's not Virtual Console.
Well, see, I was excited about this because I thought the NES port of the game was garbage. Because it was because they had to fit it for the 4x3 screen. The arcades were 4x3 the other way.
Yeah.
So they had to and all other NES limitations. Like if you look at the pixel art for the turtles on the NES, they look like squished.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
And they're taller than wide.
Right.
Where in the arcade they are wider than tall.
Right. Thanks to the way the screen's set up there.
Yeah.
The ratios.
So I've always preferred the arcade port over this. So when I heard that the arcade version was coming, not just another re-release of the NES like we got in the NES Classic last year, I was happy. And I think the furthest I got was to the 14th level of about 110,000 points.
Nice.
Which at the time is put it around around the 30th to 35th place in the leaderboard. I haven't gone back to it to know where that lands now.
This was another thing that was going over my head. I was like, that sounds great. I don't know what that means. I'm too young for this.
Yeah, and there is, I forget what they call it, but there's a 5-minute mode where the game plays for 5 minutes and cuts you off and then puts you into a leaderboard against everyone else who played for 5 minutes. And after my second attempt through, I was able to finish level 9, which is the second coin bonus stage. So there's pretty much 9,000 points to grab on that stage or more. But I finished it with 1.5 seconds left in the timer. So all those points counted. When I saw where I was ranked, I was number 20.
Nice.
So not many people are able to finish the second bonus run in a 5-minute game.
That's bragging rights right there, man.
I think
Good job.
it is.
And it proves it's a really great segue into what I'm going to call our topic of the show. Typically, we get into our messages, and Kevin goes, "Let's get into some messages." And we put a little header. There you go.
Donnie, cue the music.
For those that are confused, that's kind of a tagline we do on our show that Marty or Justin kind of opens up with like the highlights of what we're going to talk about, and then they say, "Zach, cue the music," and then he starts with our theme.
There you go. All of our messages this week, minus a couple, have all to do with the SNES Classic. So we're going to try to hit them all kind of at once. So here's what I want to know. Yes or no, did you get a SNES Classic, Jesse?
Yes.
Tyler.
I haven't played it yet, but I have it.
Okay.
No, I did not get the SNES Classic because I have something just as good. It's this little thing known as the Raspberry Pi.
Raspberry Pi. Okay.
Yeah.
I have one. Got one. I ordered 3. I can give everybody an update. They know from our little.
I think you're going to give everybody one. I was like, thank
everybody
you.
gets one. There you go. Yeah. I'm really excited to announce that.
Look under your chair.
I wanted one from Europe.
It's a water bottle. What the heck?
I needed one for my brother-in-law because I got to be the best uncle in the world. And then I wanted to get one in case somebody on PSVG staff didn't get one. And I'm happy to report that all 3 have been acquired. My Europe one dispatched from DHL. It'll be here tomorrow. The one that I ordered online for Walmart will go to Jason Lacey, and it'll be here on Monday. And then I'll reroute that to him. And then I was able to walk right into a GameStop and pick that up. And that'll go to my brother-in-law's kids, and he will cringe at the awesome gift that I gave his children. It just overshadows their Christmas. That's what I'm going for.
Jeez, it feels like you're gonna the door's gonna swing open and smoke's gonna come in.
I might make that happen. We may have to go with some theatrics. All right, so here are the questions we got. I'm going to read them, and then we can just kind of answer them if you want. If you don't, because they're all kind of related to the exact same thing. So Eric writes in, he goes, how do you think Nintendo handled the SNES Classic? Because everybody keeps hating that I say SNES launch.
SNES.
I think they had more stock for sure. Casey doubles back and goes, the launch of the SNES Classic went smoother than the NES, according to reports. Yet we still saw retailers not limited quantities, and people were allowed to buy multiple. What he's reporting is he was able to get one, but there were people that bought like 8 or 9 and then were selling them like out in the parking lot, is what he wrote in with. So I'd like to know about your experiences, or I guess, Jesse, I'd like to know about your experience getting one, if you pre-ordered, if you didn't, if you bought one in store, if you have any story to tell. And then what do you think about Nintendo handling the SNES launch versus last year's debacle with the NES launch?
I think they definitely handled it better, and just having more units out on launch day definitely helped. I think they announced, or someone reported, I forget exactly which, but they had more or as many SNES Classics on day 1 than they had NES Classics, period. And with the knowledge that they are still making them and will have them out into 2018. Originally, they were going to stop before 2018, but they said we'll be making more. So yeah, so people are still complaining, yeah, but I still didn't get mine. No, there's no way that they can make day 1 make everyone happy. But there are still 4 or 5 months left where you'll be able to get one eventually. So just be patient.
There's plenty of time between now and Christmas. You'll be able to get one. Restocks are already coming, and I was real pleasantly surprised to wake up Thursday morning and see all of our Twitter feeds light up from listeners and folks that reported like, hey, I had to go to Target and wait in line, but they had 50 of them and I was number 46. Like, there was never 50 NES Classics, I don't think, at any store at one period at any given time. Like there was like
funny.
10.
Funny you should mention that, because I was a Walmart truck driver during the time that the NES Classic was being released, and I was talking to each one of them. I was like, hey, do you got any in stock? And it's like, yeah, we got 6.
Yeah.
Each store. And like you're getting reports of like 50, 75 each store for the SNES and SNES. But they totally counteracted every mistake that they had to an extent from the NES. And I think they said very specifically, don't buy from scalpers under any circumstances. We'll take care of that.
Yep. And then they are going to be re-releasing the NES Classic later, like summerish next year.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be, for those who didn't get one, there will be more chances.
I specifically thought I was going to be left holding the bag. There were so many SNES Classics going around. I was like, maybe I bought one too many. Like if Jason gets one and I get mine from Europe, because Jesse, to catch you up, I always thought my Europe order would be canceled because they specifically said they weren't going to ship it to the United States. And I wanted it because I wanted Fire Emblem and all that. And I like the colored buttons and stuff. So the moment that thing shipped, I was like, oh, I may have to return one. At some point, they have to go to Walmart and give it back.
Does the EU version come with the Fire Emblem too? I thought it was just Japan.
No. The European one does it as well. It comes with Fire Emblem, and whatever the swap is, it gets the same one as Japan.
I didn't know that. I thought the EU got the same innards as the NA one, just with different colors.
And I'm gonna hack it anyway.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. I'm gonna hack the hack chain anyway.
One, but I'm probably not going to mod this one.
Okay.
No point in having both of them modded.
Right, when you got a Raspberry Pi.
You know, I thought about buying one of those, Tyler, and then like I was watching a video of like how somebody had to set it all up and I was just like, it just seems like a lot. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it does require good technical knowledge.
Yeah.
30 minutes. That's all it took me. And I know you're smart enough to do it.
The Hackchi mod for the NES and the SNES Classic is really easy. It's like super easy. You plug it in, download some files, you point to location.
And they made it easier even after this initial launch.
Oh, wow.
Because I was helping my brother-in-law hack his, and they ended up changing how it works. You know, because you no longer have to like push in.
You just hold the buttons down.
You don't have to do that anymore.
Oh, that's fantastic.
In fact, so basically you just turn it on and it'll kind of runs an FTP server in its background, and then all the files just get sent through the FTP server.
Fantastic.
So over the USB connection.
I want to say for the record that PSVG nor Nintendo does supports or condones any sort of piracy.
Nintendo does, because they have a hidden message in the SNES about all the people that want to tinker. So like,
I reject that phrase.
They totally know that people are going to do it. They didn't try to stop it.
Tyler does not condone piracy.
They were like, enjoy it, have fun, go back to the 90s. We've said it. I don't think we have to say it again, Jesse. I don't know. You can tell me you disagree. We've said it a bunch. We don't condone scalpers. It's like the people that are buying a ton of them. Like, there's nothing.
Scalpers nor piracy.
There's nothing illegal with what they're doing. Like, we get it, and I'm sorry for the folks that didn't get one. The only thing that you can do, your only option, is to not buy from them. That's your only buying power. And if you're upset that other people have enough money that they don't worry about buying from them, like, then just let it go. You know, like, if they want to pay $300 for one, whatever, you'll be able to get yours at $80 eventually, because Nintendo's doing a better job this time around. I will say that I sold my NES Classic. You can tell this box replaced the old box. The old box didn't go anywhere. I sold my NES Classic last week on Twitter. I wrote, hey, as soon as I get this SNES Classic, I'm never going to play the old one. Does anybody want one that couldn't get one? And I had about 5 people that wrote me, and I said, hey, I'll sell it to you for cost plus shipping. $60 plus however much it costs to ship to you. We found a buyer. He PayPal'd me, and I sent it right here. I packed it up, the original box and everything, completely modded out with all the games I put on. I was like, here you go, enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it better than me. So
good guy, Donnie. Look at
there you go. Let's move on. Trash Turkey writes, or actually Kevin writes, we've seen such a strong first-party lineup in year 1 for the Switch, but next year, 2018, we only know about like 4 titles. What would be your guesses for next year? I guess, as Switch keeping the Nintendo bandwagon going. So Tyler, what are you hoping or expecting to see Switch 2018?
Well, I'm hoping that we'll finally get like a full-on conversation in regards to the Pokemon RPG that's supposedly coming out sometime next year, but we're probably only going to hear a mention. Do we know the time frame for Fire Emblem yet? Not Fire Emblem Warriors, but the actual main title?
The Fire Emblem game, the main series, they said, I believe, when they showed it when the Switch was unveiled, was 2018. So that should be marked for next year.
All right. So I'm not sure which ones Kevin was saying specifically, but
we have Yoshi and Kirby coming, I think, is what he's really alluding to.
I would say holiday 2018 would be Fire Emblem. Probably not Metroid Prime 4, much as I'd love it. Probably, yeah, I know. Pokemon, the RPG, or at least a knockoff of that. I always dream of the Pokemon Snap, but whatever, they haven't mentioned it. And definitely some kind of reiteration of Super Smash Brothers.
Okay,
it's too much of a cash grab that they can't ignore it.
Jesse,
I'm actually going to be surprised if we see Pokemon next year. I'm kind of thinking that'll also be a 2019 thing alongside Prime 4. Those games are just too big to I don't like games being annualized, and Pokemon it's kind of does that, but then they stop like one every 3 years. They don't put something out, so they haven't been a full-fledged annualized, but they balance. They teeter that line. Yeah, definitely. I think we're going to hear about a Smash. It may not, again, that may not be a 2018 because those games take forever to make, and Sakurai kills himself every game. And
Every time he loses a finger.
every time he goes, "This is my last one."
This is the last one, yeah.
And then every time is, I don't want anyone else to make these, so I have to. So he's kicking himself in his own loop.
I heard a story of a competitive Smash player. He told me that Sakurai had attended one of these competitions for Smash, decided to play against one of these people, and he got completely demolished. And he was very upset that he didn't want people to have that kind of experience. And he watched the winner of the fight, and I believe it was like Zero Suit Samus or Meta Knight or something like that, won by doing some crazy combo that he could never possibly think of. And he went up there at the end and said, I didn't know they could do that. And then apparently 2 weeks later, he introduced a patch to nerf that character.
Oh, there you go.
I know,
I like it.
I know.
I love it.
It's like, I don't know if that's true or not, but if what that person, I'll give him credit. It's called Nitwick. It's a good podcast, but they were talking about that in their last episode, and I was like, no way.
That's like troll level 1,000,000. That's amazing.
Like, if he could do something like that.
It would have been better if he named the patch after the person he patched it for. That's the only cherry on top. 2018 Switch, I've got a few ideas. I guess since we're already, typically we save, I'm surprised Kevin sent this in. Typically we save our 2018 predictions till after our Game of the Year stuff. But 2018 Switch, here's what I would say. I think the ports cometh. I think Smash Brothers is a given because I think it will be an enhanced port. I think we're going to get some sort of Smash Brothers DX type thing. Because we've got all these amiibo, people have to use them. Smash makes the best sense. Like, I think Smash comes.
Speaking of amiibo, Mario Maker.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
That's true.
I think it's possible we could get a port of one of or both. I've been proliferating the idea of a double pack of the HD Zeldas from Wii U. Because they can really, they've done such a good job getting first party titles out of the gate for Switch's launch. I can't imagine that they can keep another year where they hit a first party big game every month if it doesn't include ports. So if they're going to try to keep this pattern somewhat strong, I think a Zelda, especially, a year post Breath of the Wild, could fit in there in that window. I thought Pokemon could come. I really did when we were first talking about it because of the annualization, because they're not the most intensive games. But you're right, Jesse. It's not almost every 3 years, but really, like, when they start a new console, they usually take their time. Like, they really kind of get their roots about them, and then they start cranking them out.
Yeah, while it wasn't a new console, but going into Gen 7, the year before they did take the break, and then that was Yokai Watch this year.
What I was going to say is I could very much see like an HD, like super sharp version of like a Sun or Moon or an Ultra come to Switch. I could see them doing that again. And doing that kind of remastered approach with a game like that.
I'm not sure if they will, because if they would have done that with the Ultras, they would have done that with.
You think like this year?
I think they would have done that right away.
Okay,
but because they're not, right. I don't think we will. I think it'll just be when Pokemon hits Switch, it'll just be clean break, nice sunglasses to Gen 8.
And then I agree with you guys. Metroid's like a forever away. That's not going to happen. So we're going to get Kirby. We're going to get Yoshi. We're going to Smash port. The big game for fall has got to be Animal Crossing. They've got the port coming in somewhere. Ooh. That's the one I'm going to, because they have to have, I mean, Nintendo makes their bank. I've always said this, more so than every other company. They make their bank with a big holiday title that they can really put all of their marketing efforts behind it. This year it's Odyssey. Next year they've got to have something to fill the void. It can't be another Mario game, or they're going to risk running into that port machine stuff. So it's got to be a different game in their big franchise. And I think the next portable Animal Crossing game is a huge announcement. You do that, and maybe some virtual console, splash in a couple ports, some Kirby, Yoshi. You've got yourself a great year till you get to Pokemon and Metroid.
Then
do you think Switch though?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Ooh, I'm gonna say they would do it for the 3DS to keep it alive.
Nope.
No, 3DS is dead after.
Yeah. No, I couldn't disagree with that more. No.
Because I agree with what you're saying about Animal Crossing. And Animal Crossing, I think, because there's the chatter is there. Remember, there's an Animal Crossing mobile app coming as well.
Yeah, there is.
The chatter is going to have some sort of direct interaction with the next Animal Crossing game.
Right.
So
okay, yeah, that's fair.
It makes sense to be that on the Switch versus another update to New Leaf. which I'm still surprised had the update it did 3 years after its initial launch.
That was surprising. And you think about it, it's probably not like the world's best year for them, but again, put it on paper, you get a brand new Fire Emblem entry. Let's say they get Animal Crossing. You throw in a Yoshi, you throw in a Kirby, you throw in a port or two, and Virtual Console. It's a hell of a year for a Nintendo console. It just it kind
if
of
anyone thinks next year is going to beat this year, I don't think that can ever happen. You have
that's it,
because you got the Zelda, you got the Mario, not only Game of the Year, but probably Game of the Decade contentions.
Cart and Splatoon.
Yeah, so I don't think next year will be as strong as this year, and that's not a bad thing. Just as long as they're consistent in putting out, and what they do put out is quality. I don't think people will start running away.
So specifically, if they have the big game like an Animal Crossing, if they have the one big game that everybody can look forward to, it can also drive sales, make some room for some more third-party support.
Right. They just can't afford a 3 or 4 month drought that Wii U had the problem with.
Exactly.
You know, missing a month, I don't think is a big deal.
No, you can't miss 9 months.
Yeah, but they can't do that consistently. They can't have a year of only 6 releases, obviously.
Right.
But if they have 10 strong games, I don't think that's a bad year.
And we're already forgetting that Wolfenstein.
Even if none of them is a Zelda and none of them is a Mario, they have other IPs that they can do that with.
Yep. Anything else, Tyler?
Nah, I was going to say that, well, I said nah, so no. I was going to give a point after that, but I realized I'd be contradicting myself. So I either got to retract the first part or stop the second.
Tristan writes in, now that October is here, what games are you most looking forward to? I pulled up some stuff, so I can just go ahead and run down the list because we typically do this the first show of every month. October is absolutely packed. This is one of the best months of video games that I can literally remember. We've got...
I'm pulling up our list. I maintain a list of future game releases.
Okay.
I'm pulling that up so I can see what's coming as well.
Fill in the blanks. So I've got Forza. We've got Forza. We've got I had some in memory. We've got Odyssey, of course. We've got Fire Emblem, and then we've got The Evil Within. We've got Wolfenstein. We've got South Park: Fractured But Whole. I know I'm missing one. I'm missing a big one. Assassin's Creed. So I was just going to cover the big ones. If you'd like to add any, feel free.
There's if you're on the 3DS, there's the Layton 7 game, Layton's Mystery Journey, Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy, the remake of Superstar Saga with plus Bowser's Minions. I'm looking forward to both of those.
Yes.
Yeah. See, Fire Emblem Warriors. I'm not particularly looking forward to it, but I know other people are. That's coming out on Switch and 3DS.
This guy.
Yep.
The biggest Hyrule Warriors fan you will ever meet in your life.
I actually started playing the actual Dynasty Warriors titles because of Hyrule Warrior, and I am totally a Musu fan. I thrive for those things, those
so
130 kills or some crazy crap like that.
I'm seriously contemplating beating Fire Emblem Warriors before I even touch Mario. In all seriousness, because
don't do that to yourself, man.
Dude, I love that. I'm such a huge fan. I forgot Shadow of War too. Throw another huge one into the mix. And what is it? Call of Duty, maybe, or short after, like November.
That's early November, I think.
Okay, just tons.
See,
tons.
My son's a Call of Duty person. I can't stand the games, but
you and I both, brother.
Yeah. Another game again I'm not interested in, but my daughter will be. Just Dance 2018 comes out on 3 consoles. Switch, Wii U, and the Wii. The Wii is still getting games.
You gotta get that Wii love, man. What games are you guys buying in October? Like, what are you planning to play? I mean, I think we're all planning to play Odyssey, so we may have to wax poetic about Odyssey, but is there anything else that you're planning on playing?
Well, I'm trying to budget up on stuff, so I'm usually doing the wait until somebody starts exclaiming it, like it's the next coming of Zelda, I guess, in this case, and jump on that. Like, you guys keep talking so much about Golf Story, and me, I was like, golf, but then you start talking about stuff, and I'm like, I
gotta get Golf Story.
And then you start talking about Dig 2, and I'm like, ooh, that sounds like Terraria and Tech, or not Terraria, yeah, Terraria and Minecraft. Now I was getting excited to hear about that, and I'm waiting for that right moment, pardon me, to just sell me on that game sometime this October that will hold me up until Odyssey, but I really don't know what that game is yet.
That Stardew Valley drop in October for Switch.
Yes.
Another game of note that, again, I'm not going to be playing because I already own it on other systems, but Axiom Verge Multiverse Edition's coming out on Switch next week.
Yep. All those Metroid fans should be.
That is a physical release in addition to
really?
the digital.
Yeah,
that's what I've been told.
Yep. Jesse, what are you getting besides Mario in October?
I think I already said I'm interested in Lady Layton and the Superstar Saga. That's probably it out of the games I know of. Okay. I expect there to be more just kind of indie surprises peeking in that might pique my interest.
Oh, sure. Don't you just want to dance, though, on the Wii? Come on.
No.
I feel like we're probably going to get Stardew Valley and Flipping Death this month. Probably. Maybe. Go ahead.
Flipping Death is actually, I see the previous game from them was now I can't think of the name.
Yeah,
similar art style, but anyway.
So what games was it? Zombie Vikings?
No.
Stick It to the Man.
Stick It to the Man. That one.
There you go.
So a friend of mine, Kim Lin Tran, did multiple voices for pretty much every female character in that game. Wow. So she's also the voice of Snip and Clip and Snipper Clips. So when I heard of Flipping Death, knowing it came from the same developers, I asked her, "So, are you voicing characters in this game?" And her answer was, "I cannot confirm or deny." And I'm like, "What does that mean?" And I kind of poked a little bit, and she said, "Yes, I recorded voices. I don't know if they're going to be used." I'm like, "Okay, that's fair. I like that answer." So,
okay,
nice. So, good. Other things, other voices she's done was. Do you remember Dust and Elysian Tale?
No. No, Dust, I do.
Yeah, she was Fidget.
Oh, the Elysian Tale. Okay, I thought you were talking about like a name. I'm like, Dust, Elysian Tale. No, I don't know that guy.
Yeah, I was actually kind of right there with you, Tyler. It took me a minute. I was like, wait a minute. No, Dust, yes.
I might have said it fast. The whole thing, the game of the game is Dust and Elysian Tale.
Okay.
Yep.
But Fidget, she voiced her as well. And in Skullgirls, she voiced Misfortune.
Nice.
So I'm a fan of her work.
Myself, I'm really, really, really stoked for Fire Emblem Warriors. I mean, I've already said it, but I'm going to keep saying it because I can't wait. Can't wait to play that game. All about it.
Now, I do have a title I could pitch at you that might be, or you might be interested. It came out for the Switch. Have you ever messed with the visual novel Fate Stay Night?
No.
Game came out. It's called Fate / Extella, the Umbral Stark.
I have that on my wish list.
It is a Musu or a Warriors game that you can play that does the same style system. Now, I am very well aware of this visual novel and all that, and I love it. But it's also a $60 game, and I don't know what kind of quality got put into it. So I have it on my
wish list. I have it on my wish list. I'm waiting. I'm pulling the trigger on that once it drops to about $30.
Okay, so Fate Extella Initiative. Go. Can we do that? No?
No.
Oh, come on, you guys did the Metroid Initiative.
There are two other games. One of them's actually already out, but I'm still waiting. But there are two other games that are worth mentioning. They're also both Switch games. So we're doing a really terrible job of placating to the Xbox and PlayStation communities this month. But WWE 2K17 or 2K18 appears to be releasing for Switch on October 17th. That looks like the rumor mill. It might get delayed, but that seems to be what's trending right now. I've already pre-ordered that game. I can't wait to play me some WWE. Tyler, you know more than most all about that, big WWE fan. And then
that date's been set for a while, so I'll be surprised if that moves.
Okay. And then the NBA 2K game is already out. People are already playing it, but it's digital only. I have the physical copy because I want the savings, so I'm waiting for the physical copy, which is about 10, 12 days from now. So I'll be doing those. So if you want to come play games with me on Switch, my Switch code is on my Twitter at Play Nintendo. It's also on the website. So is everybody else's. I will be playing NBA. I will be playing WWE, Fire Emblem, and then of course Mario Odyssey.
Right.
Last question. Do you have a gaming tattoo? If not, what would you get? It's a pretty quick one for me. I have no tattoos. I've always wanted to get one. I've always wanted to get the little 16-bit Link, I don't know, on my calf or my arm or something.
I mean, like this one?
There you go. Tyler has the tattoo that I would want to get. So I don't even need to get it. I can just live vicariously through you.
It was funny because I was telling you this earlier. I was playing Link to the Past, and I had just got the 3 pendants, and to that magical moment when you first pull out the Master Sword, I had loved that moment so much as a childhood that I had inked it onto my arm. And this is the first time I've played it since I've gotten the tattoo. And so on stream, I'm like, it triggered in my head. I started looking at my bicep and started looking at the screen, like, I was like, look at this. This is me. And I got all excited and stuff like a little kid on this. On the stream, I was very thrilled.
So you've already got the tattoo.
Yes.
Jesse, you got a tattoo?
I do not, and I've never been interested in getting one.
Gotcha. Your tattoo reminds me that even though we talked a little bit about the SNES Classic, that I don't think we even asked anybody if anybody played any. I tweeted out, and I've been tweeting all week from PSVG, asking people, like, I'm glad you got one, because everybody's sending us those pictures like, hey, I got one.
Yeah, everyone got them.
What's your first game that you're going to play? And I am happy to report that the majority agreed with me, because I've taken a lot of flack for this, at Yoshi's Island. Got a lot of those requests, like almost 3-1. A lot of people. I love Yoshi's Island. It's so good. And everybody was saying, I can't wait to play Yoshi's Island. And all of you guys made fun of me last week when I told you I was going to bust out some Yoshi's Island. And that's what I did. I hooked it up and we played some Yoshi's Island. Jesse, you said you didn't play yours yet, right?
I did not, but
Okay.
we talked in our patron chat the same question when it was asked, and I said I haven't played it yet, but I bet my son played Link to the Past first to see if the glitch still exists that lets him beat the game in 5 minutes from start to finish, and it does. And that was the first thing he did, and it's still there. So
now, speaking of Link to the Past, Tyler, you've been playing.
Yes, sir. It's been the latest game I've been streaming for us on twitch.tv/PSVG, if I can plug that in right there for us. Yeah, so far I have gotten up to I've beaten it like once every 2 years. It's almost natural for me that you get that kind of urge, like, winter is coming, I got to play Link to the Past. And I grow a beard and then I play Link to the Past. So far I've gotten up to the Dark Palace over in the Dark World, and like I was telling myself how much I hated this dungeon, and then I got through it in like 20 minutes. I'm like, oh, that was easy, huh? But I have terrible memory, so each time I play this game, I forget about everything.
That's fantastic. That's like the
joy
best
of
thing.
that is going through all the puzzles. Like, how do I do this? I know I had to look around like, oh, I had to do that, and all of a sudden everything pieces together, and it's wonderful. And I think that's one of the few moments where I do appreciate having such a poor memory, is that I get to relive these fantastic moments as a child all over again, just all over again. Giddy.
I beat Link to the Past last year on 3DS. So that'll probably be one of the last ones that I tackle after I hack it and do all kinds of crazy stuff to it, because I got to get all the WWE
we don't condone. He's totally not doing it.
No, I'm totally joking. All right, let's move on to some news. And let's try to get us out of here pretty quick. We've been going on quite a bit. So the updates are pretty bland this week. Subscription updates. It's a new month. It's October, so we get our subscription updates over on Games with Gold. You're getting Gone Home, the Turing Test, and then 360 backwards compatibility. You're getting Rayman 3 HD and Medal of Honor Airborne. PlayStation Plus, if I may say so, which I'm going to because I'm the host, totally blowing Games with Gold out of the water this month, because they're getting Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and the Amnesia Collection, plus Q and Skyforce Anniversary, which are both PS4 and Vita cross-buy.
No, I'm glad they did the Phantom Pain and not like Ground Zero or something like that.
They already did Ground Zeroes, actually. If you're a PlayStation Plus member, you now own both of these. I played Ground Zeroes, and I've never been a huge stealth game person. It's really never been a
thing I lived for Metal Gear Solid.
But everybody talked about how amazing Metal Gear Solid 5 is, so I will add it to the library. I don't know when I'm going to get to play it, because obviously I've got stuff to play, but at some point in time I will play it, and I look forward to coming back, and because if I don't like it, I'll come tell you I don't like it. Like, I don't just fall into line with what everybody else says. But the Ground Zeroes wasn't my thing, but one of our friends, friend of the show, Chris, Uncle Bread fan over at Married to the Games, he is the Married to the Games. Like, he's the Metal Gear Solid expert. He loves that is his Zelda, if you will. Like, that's his series. He told me Phantom Pain isn't quite as stealthy as Ground Zeroes was. He's like, once you get into the world in Phantom Pain, it opens up and it really lets you do stuff. So if you're somebody that likes to do more run and gun like me, he's like, that's available.
Oh,
to
yeah.
you. So I look forward to that. So that's pretty cool.
And saying Metal Gear Solid 5 is amazing, I would say yes for the first act, but thanks to budget cuts and too much time constraints and some issues with Hideo Kojima, after that things just explode apart. Like if you just strap that first act and call that, yes, fantastic game, best thing I've seen out of the Metal Gear Solid series.
Wow.
After that though, it gets into a different direction fairly quickly.
Jesse, do you I'm imagine, do you have PlayStation, Xbox? Are you looking forward to any of these games?
I do have PlayStation 4 with a PlayStation Plus subscription, but not interested in any of these games. I've never really been a Metal Gear fan. The only game I remember playing was the original NES one, and I not knowing that the point was to not run and gun.
Yeah.
And so I got everything handed to me.
I've always wanted.
Like, this is a stupid game, and then I returned it. It was like a rental from the back then when we had the mom and pop rental stores before the blockbusters were popular.
Sure.
That breaks my heart. Just hearing
my
that.
favorite Metal Gears are Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, and I love the Vita HD collection. I have always wanted them to come to 3DS, and I would love for them to come to Switch. So I have some history with the series, but you know, we'll move on. Interesting article that came out from PlayStation this week was Andrew House over at Sony was commenting about the Switch. So we'll get into a little editorial, little opining here. He was asked, with Sony planning to go toe-to-toe with Nintendo Switch, basically more or less asking, do you guys plan to follow up the Vita? I mean, that's really what they're asking. Like, do you guys going to do another portable? Because the Nintendo Switch has been so popular so far. And he said, and I quote, the Nintendo device is a hybrid device that is a different approach and strategy. We have not seen that as being a huge market opportunity. He goes on to talk about Vita and its success in Asia, but its lack of success everywhere else. I thought this was a very interesting article because I agree with him. As big as the Nintendo fan that I am, Sony doesn't have Pokemon and Zelda and Mario, and it's hard to, like, especially with Pokemon being such a series so rooted in portables, it's hard to push portables against smartphones if you don't have that IP. And that does not to demean the IP that Sony has. Great IP, but I don't think anybody goes, Last of Us, God of War, Uncharted, I can't wait to play it on my portable gaming system, right? Like, you want that big blown up. So
but Chains of Olympus was great.
It was, but you know what I'm
PSVG.
saying? We're talking mass market, Pokemon's mass market appeal. You know, none of those sell like Pokemon sells. So that's a big deal. But also Sony's got PlayStation 4 and it's blowing, you know, numbers out of the water. Plus they also have this other platform peripheral that I think they would like to sell more of. I think they'd like to develop more for, and you know, VR. And I think that really kind of takes up all the space that they have. I think it'd be hard for them to justify trying to support another pillar, especially when their main pillar is doing so well right now. So it's a good topic. I agree with him. I think Andrew House is smart. I think it's hard for a company to go up against smartphones. And I think the only reason that Nintendo stands aside is because of their IP. If they didn't have that IP, it'd be hard for them. I mean, it's already hard for them, but it'd be harder for them if they didn't have the IP that they have.
Yeah, I was actually at the E3 when Sony announced the Vita for the first time, and we're all watching this like, this is the weirdest thing we've ever seen for way too much money. And then, like, only 3 years after that, I think it was 2011, and around I think it was 2014, that E3, the Sony had nothing for the Vita. They didn't even mention it. So they've already written it off after 3 years. The fact that they still even support it for the indies is surprising to me.
Right.
So
I think the last time it got mentioned was for that what is that game?
As it didn't get mentioned in the last E3. Like, didn't they come out and they announced like some smaller? They had like
They
a
had
little
mentioned
indie
Undertale.
Yeah.
But that was third party. They mentioned it for the Vita, but for like the most part, the past 5 years, it's almost like a swear word.
kind of.
Yeah.
To say
So-
that E3.
So the fact that they wrote it off after 3 years, I'm not surprised that they had no intention of making a sequel to the Vita.
Yeah, I'm not surprised either.
It's not the right word for it, but you know what I mean.
The last news story that I had was the big RDR trailer. Red Dead Redemption 2 got a trailer this week. It was interesting because Rockstar had kind of penciled everybody in. It was Thursday morning, right? Or was it Friday? I don't remember. It was one of the mornings this week. It was one of the mornings this week, and they were like, they've been hyping it for kind of like a couple of weeks. They're like, hey, tune in Rockstar.com, and everybody picked it up. IGN, and Kind of Funny, and all the folks picked it up, and they're like, you got to come tune it in. And what we got was like a 20-second trailer of just of the Wild Wild West. We did learn some things, so it's definitively a prequel. You get to play as the gang, So anybody that missed the first one last gen, you're not missing out. Like, you'll get to jump into the new one. You're going to play as the bad guys. I have the article pulled up so I can actually be a little more specific. You play as Arthur Morgan and the Vanderling gang.
Oh, they sound dangerous.
There you go.
Like dangerous.
I love Rockstar. Love everything they do. I'm not the world's biggest RDR fan. Every time I say that, people go, oh, it doesn't mean I didn't like it. It was fine. It was good. It's one of those great 8s. It was fun. But I don't think of Red Dead Redemption as the best game of last generation. It's not even close to me in that regard. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm under the guys. I'll basically buy and play anything Rockstar does until they burn me. Like, they've got so much goodwill with me since LA Noire came out the first time. Everything they've done since then, I've been such a big fan of that I'll keep doing it until the next one comes out, and then the next LA Noire does it. So I really enjoyed it, but I will say the trailer I found to be I just wanted more. It was literally like 20, 30 seconds of cowboys doing cowboy stuff. I think the only really cool thing that we got to see, or at least the only thing that I thought was really cool out of the trailer, was you get to use bows and arrows. I know Devin's going to love that because he loves the bow. And then there was cool environments. Like, there's a swamp and stuff like that. Like, there's more than just, Red Dead Redemption, if you played it, was very just desert. And that's what you think about with cowboys is great, but it was just the whole thing was just horses and coyotes. So this one showed off like bears, mountain areas, prairies, swamps, alligators. So I look forward to that stuff. That all sounds good to me.
Now, how long would you want something like this to be? Like a minute and a half or something like that versus 20 seconds?
When you take the time to go, hey, come listen to us talk about this game that you're all expecting. Right. When you go out of your way to do that, I need a couple minutes of something at the very least, if not like 5 or 10 minutes. Like, I
know, right?
Do like a mini Nintendo Direct on something. Don't just be like, here's 20 seconds. See you next year. Now, they did say it. I mean, the news is that they reiterated spring 2018. I'm not believing that. Red Dead Redemption, I always think of it as like a Rockstar games launch in the fall, but who knows? The spring is the new fall. Everybody's doing stuff in the spring. Zelda was March, so
I know, right? March
3rd. So yeah, who knows? Jesse?
Yeah, not a game I'm interested in.
It's like nope.
I did rent the first game, and it's a shooter down to its core. Yeah, I understand there's more to it than that, but
Sure.
Again, if I didn't even like Prime, anything that is a shooter, I'm not going to like. And I've tried every 2 or 3 years. I try the latest and greatest thing to see if something finally clicks, and it never has. Even going, so this goes all the way back to the original Wolfenstein 3D and Doom in 92, 93. So it's not like I haven't tried.
Oh, gee. Well, who was that?
This isn't like I haven't tried.
Now, as I'm sitting here, I was ready to wrap us out, and I look at here and I see the Splatfest stuff going on here. So, Tyler.
Yes, sir.
That's a weird thing.
Like, it seems like they've been grasping for straws more or less of late, because they had some hot bangers, especially on the first one, but it seems like they keep fizzling out a bit here. Like that last one, Flight versus Invisibility, it was okay. I'm not against it.
No, it's not. But it was below average.
But this one, it's like, do you like your bologna pickled or no? But in reality, it's, do you want your toilet paper hanging forward or they hang it backwards? And from the point of view, that just seems stupid.
It's boring. It's boring and stupid. Yeah. It's not.
See, I thought I saw that as a mock-up like 3 weeks ago as a joke. I didn't think this was actually going to happen.
Now, I would like to view it, and that's why I put it in the notes, as do people like things done normally as society wants it, or do they like to be hip and go against it? Because when I see this, I think of the imaginary house of for friends, where they have a huge argument over which way the toilet paper should be between the bunny rabbit and the caretaker's granddaughter. Anyways, I would like to think that most people are going to pick the one that isn't normal, the backwards. And I'm totally for backwards normally and abnormally. That doesn't even make sense.
That's because the waifu wants the backwards one.
I don't even care. This is one of those Caroline specials. Caroline, tell me which team to pick. We're going at this point. I'm picking the who are the characters? We have Marina and
Pearl.
Pearl. So I'm picking Marina's team. Whatever. I don't care. Like I'm so. The Splatfests have been so bad.
Hers is towards the back.
There you go. That's the one I'm going with. I
always like to pick the underdog.
Why don't we have Charizard Blastoise? Why don't we have Red Blue? Why don't we have Coke Pepsi? Why don't we have peanut butter jelly? Like,
there was a red versus blue one.
Why don't we just have heads or tails? Like literally, that would be better than this. This is
Marina versus Pearl.
I want the job at Nintendo.
No, that'll be the last one.
Comes up with this. What an amazing job. Like binary would be better than this. 1 or 0 is better than this. This is
stir up some crap. Sony versus Microsoft. I want to see it.
That would be the best Splatfest.
Wow.
That's like Battle Royale for 2 people. Oh, man.
Best Buy versus
Mario versus Luigi. I want to see something like that.
I mean, they have all of the makings. Like you could do it against like the Koopas. You could pick the Koopa. I mean, they've got everything. It's bad. I'm glad that you wrapped. I wasn't even going to touch that as a news story. I'm glad you brought it in. That's fantastic.
I just wanted to bring it up as, to bring attention that, things are going to kind of not as good as it used to be. Like the joke was like, ha ha ha, let's pick teams that split sides. But now it's like, ketchup or mayonnaise. It's like, well, I mean, I'm actually kind of happy with both. I prefer ketchup or mayonnaise.
I prefer both, like literally together.
It'd be awesome actually if they offered like a 3rd or a 4th team and you could like pick both or none.
Yeah, like Pokemon Go. Give me a Team Instinct.
I will say this just to touch on the news story, make it a little more relevant. There hasn't been a game that I played so much of and then dropped off the face of the earth so fast than Splatoon 2. I played that game religiously for the first 60 hours, probably in like the first 5 or 6 days that I had it. And it has nothing against the game. The game itself is fantastic. The new weapons, the new maps, the new solo play, the salmon run, all of it is great. I love all of it. It's really good. I absolutely hate sitting through the startup menu every time. At this point now, I don't even, it literally deters me from playing it. I'll start it up and be like, this is going to take me 3 minutes. I'm
really the witty commentary is what turns you off from the rest of the game?
It really does. And then like Splatoon 1 or Splatoon, me and my kids, and you can check it on our YouTube channel. We streamed every Splatfest. Like we were always about it. Like we'd argue online which one we're going to pick. And these Splatfests have done nothing for me. And it's like just ruined it. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to play Golf Story and I'm going to play Rabbids. Like there's something else to play. I'm just going to play these other games now. I'm done. So
I just feel like you're nitpicking at something that's a little too petite of a detail. But I mean, I understand that when you play Splatoon, you want to play like 3-minute matches. You want to play quick and fast.
I want to get into the game. Yeah, like
when you spend
play
a match worth of time, sitting there waiting for them to jibber jabber each other, going, here, I like to wipe my butt backwards and all that crap.
It's an opportunity cost of other things that I could be playing. Plus, like if I'm playing
over there,
if I'm playing on the go, if it's a portable play, right? If I'm playing on the go, like I don't have time to sit here and wait for it to run through all of the dialogue, tell me all the maps, everything in rotation, and then you just add on to it, right? Like the salmon run rotation and when it's up and when it's not. Like I don't have time to keep up this.
I haven't even touched that.
I feel like I need like a calendar for Splatoon. It's like I need alerts on my phone. It's like you can play this now. Like it's so. There's so much to know and do that I have no time for that I just kind of write it off. I'm like, you know what? I'll play Mario Kart.
I wonder if they'll implement that on the online thing for the phone.
That sounds
just like a little heads up. Like, hey,
salmon run's available. Why isn't it available all the time? So I'm still. You're right. There are small issues. I'm not lying, but it's not
every 3 hours. The map has changed.
It's death by 1,000 paper cuts is what it is. How many times am I going to open that menu and hear them say the same thing about the same rotation and the same map and the same tagline? And it's just, I'm done. I'm done.
Donnie, if it's death by 1,000 paper cuts, what kind of toilet paper are you using, man? Jeez.
All right.
Go for Charm or something. Jeez.
On that, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to go to our special guest. Once again.
See, now that would have been the title of our episode right there.
Jesse,
1,000 paper cut toilet paper or something.
tell the fans, tell our listeners
Nailed it.
where they can find you, listen to you, watch you play games, do your thing.
So we our main podcast is where we have most of our traffic. It can be seen you can subscribe at iTunes and Google Play and probably other sites that are, the other sites I didn't set up. I think like Stitcher and those other things too, but those Google Play and iTunes are the two big ones. We're also on YouTube. Just search for Nintendo Dads. Will be in the search. We do Justin and Marty do a lot of unboxing videos of things that they get and put them on YouTube. And in addition to, we live stream our recording, just like you're doing right now, to our YouTube, and that's available there for archive. And sometimes and I think Zach sometimes too will start a live stream, and those all happen on our YouTube channel as well. And we're gearing up for the Extra Life charity event coming early November. I know we set up a team. I don't remember the URL. I've not been involved in that as much as the others, but and we've invited our listeners to set up their own accounts and join our team. And together we want to. I think we have a goal of $1,700. And I know people have already came in and says, "Oh, I already got $50. So that's awesome." And we haven't even played anything yet. So that's kind of the big event coming up. And one thing that my son also does he's trying to improve his speed running of Mario 64. So he wants part of the charity event streaming day. He wants to do a run of Super Mario 64. He 16-star run. His record, I think, is 29 minutes. His goals are usually 35s. And then he wants to do the Link to the Past 5-minute run.
Fantastic.
So that'll be fun to watch.
Tyler, give me your digits.
Let's see. You can check me out Twitter at 2xTyler. I'm running the PSVG Twitch, which is twitch.tv/PSVG. You can also check my work as well as everybody else's, of course, youtube.com/play some video games. Sorry, I was kind of treading your territory. And if you ever need a guest over there, Jesse, you let me know.
Ooh.
Yeah, you ever feel like you need to step it up, and I can poke and prod at your son a little bit more.
Yeah, there's a list of other people I'm trying to get on as well. So we'll keep you in mind.
Don't worry, it's a long list. I don't worry, buddy.
You just got queued up.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at Playing Nintendo. I have been streaming Golf Story. I think I've got 2 or 3 hours of Golf Story up over there on the YouTube as well. I try to stream. I can't stream as much as Tyler, but that's why we love having him as part of the team. So thank you so much, Tyler.
Number 1 streamer in the world. I mean, wait, no.
Nope.
That's actually not true.
Let me run through the stuff. PlaySomeVideoGames.com, PSVGPodcast.com. The PSVG podcast that you're listening to is already up on Google Play and iTunes. Please give us a review. All the stuff that Kevin does better than me at this. So that's what you get when you get the secondary host. It's not nearly as clean and nice, but that's it.
But you get all the flavor.
You get all the flavor. I keep it real. So that's it. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Thank you once again to our special guest, Jesse. I've actually talked to Nintendo Dads, man, maybe 5 or 6 different times over the past, since we started. We had different times.
Once.
Well, we had different times where we wanted to bring them on, but then at one point they got misscheduled, and then at another point we got misscheduled and we brought other people on. Again, we have a lot of I know we do, because we get tweets where we're both mentioned together. We have tons of tweets where people go, "Hey Nintendo Dads, hey PSVG, hey Nintendo Gurus." We get a lot of we share.
There's a lot of cross promotion going on.
Yes, there is. There is. So we've always wanted to do this. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thank you.
Fun. Thanks for having me.
Tyler,
you're awesome, Jesse.
Is the main protagonist as to why you're here. He's the motivating factor. We brought Tyler on. He's brand new to the team, and he mentioned to me when he came on, he was like, "I love the Nintendo Dads podcast." Now, I like you guys,
100%.
But I'm not going to lie to you. Again, like I said before, I don't listen every week. It's usually when you guys have big stuff and all
and
that.
That's fair.
But Tyler,
there are many other shows I don't listen to.
There you go.
So much time that I have.
But Tyler was like, "I love them so much. It's I'd love to do it." And I was like, "Well, Tyler's doing such a great job. We're absolutely gonna make that happen. So there you go, Tyler. Tyler, how does it feel?
Best feeling in the
podcast.
world. It's like playing Link to the Past again. And I got the Master System. Oh my god, I got a picture of Jesse Wallback on my desk. Oh no, that's different. I got to mix up. Good memories though. Good memories.
Wow.
So with that, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in and listening. And as always, we appreciate it. But more importantly, never forget, boys and girls, never stop gaming.